Hello, everybody. This is Victoria Vesna, and you're listening to Vibrations Matter. I'm delighted to share with you my conversation with Takashi Ikegami, a physicist at the University of Tokyo whose work has deeply shaped how I think about life, sound, and complexity. Takashi approaches life not as something fixed, but as a continuum of dynamic processes, oscillations, feedback loops, swarming behaviors, and the spontaneous emergence of structure from chaos. His research on flocking simulations, nonlinear patterns, and artificial life isn't about representing life, but about generating it, using simple rules that echo natural systems. In his lab, complexity isn't just measured, it's felt, it's experienced. And what I especially admire about Takashi is his openness to creative art science collaborations. Alongside physicists and programmers, he regularly works with artists and sound practitioners, exploring how complex systems can be sensed, heard, and inhabited. Scientific models become immersive environments, perpetual worlds that shift and swarm. I worked with Takashi and his team directly on Birdsong Diamond, a project I developed in collaboration with evolutionary biologist Chuck Taylor. When Takashi joined us, he and his students added a whole new dimension, approaching birdsong as a high dimensional dynamic soundscape shaped by flocking principles and nonlinear transitions. This expanded the work into a fully immersive experience, presented at Ars Electronica Deep Space and later at the University of Tsukuba. Takashi exemplifies the physicist whose creative collaborations directly inform his scientific research. For him, creativity isn't peripheral, it's a way of thinking. He's a sci artist. I'm sure you'll enjoy this conversation as much as I did. Everything's great. Life is crazy. What can I tell you?
Oh
The
yeah, oh
whole
yeah.
world is going crazy. And many times I think of you and your work around the internet becoming a global consciousness and
hmm
how it all is a network and it's going to start having an intelligence of its own.
Yeah.
You were saying this years
Yes,
ago.
yes, yes, yes.
Years ago. I think people forget, and people were saying, "Oh, what is he talking about?" But here it is. We're actually experiencing what you envisioned. And I was thinking about you a lot because I'm writing a book called Vibrations Matter,
Uh-huh.
and I have
That's good
different.
title.
Thank you. And the whole thing just brought me back also to working with you and Charles Taylor, and then also the fact that you have musicians and sound artists
hmm
in your lab, and you've had this
hmm
for a long time. And you also work with sound so much in your life and your work that crosses over into public sphere too. So I thought, oh, I have to highlight Takashi.
Thank you so much.
So, and I really would like to start with a question that actually uh, is about how you got started. Like, if you go way back into your youth, like when you were
hmm
young, what is it that became interesting to you that you went into physics and then specifically started thinking about sound and vibration and
hmm
complexity and networks,
hmm
all this stuff that really is not reductionist at all? In other words, your very early science was not about kind of being one pointed, which is so unusual in science. And yet you always managed to be very successful and prosper anyway. So,
Okay, because I got interested in evolutionary systems, like many physicists are interested in, what life is. And then, uh, so I wrote a paper called Coevolution of Machines and Tapes, which is, how the machines can read the tape and make a machine from it. And then the machine goes to read another tape. And if tape is itself, read the tape, make itself. So it's a self-reproduction, self-replication. replication is going to happen, right? So uh, there that I think, because there are noises coming up from the environment, right? So it's always the machine makes error when read the tape and it makes another machine, right? So, but eventually, these machines, the role of noise is now programmed, became a program. So the noise from noise to deterministic programmed noise
Wow,
that
cool.
machine can have. So that it's no more a noise, but it's more like a deterministic programming that machine can have. So that the machine can make another machine deterministically. Then the machine goes to read another tape, and then so it's a network replication. It's locally, it's not a self-replication, but globally, that's replicating entire network into the same thing, right? So it's so this replication is climbing up the level, right, from the local
Mm-hmm.
replication to the global meta replication.
Mm-hmm.
And then I call it I think it's a creative noise or creative mutation. So
Mm-hmm.
from the passive noise to active noise, which is a creative noise. Then I wrote this paper. Yeah, then it was.
When did you write that paper?
It's a very long time ago. It's 1995, I think.
Wow, you were so ahead of everybody. That's 30 years.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
30 years. Yeah,
were
that's
you already a professor? Were you already at the university, or you were just
yeah. I was
starting?
I was the associate professor at that time. Yeah,
Mhm.
and
But
then yeah, yeah. But
I'm
then this
curious.
paper was
Yeah, sorry
yeah.
to interrupt.
No, no, it's okay. Please, please.
Well, just before you continue to that, I would go back to what brought you to write about this. What is the ideas or the interests that made you explore this and try to see how that would work, to think about the passive and the creative noise and almost like a
Mm.
fractal kind of replication, right, of this
Yeah.
sound.
Yes, yes. But that time I was interested in chaos, right? So how the chaos can explain, living systems and life itself. Because I was in nonlinear science, and then I went to Center for Nonlinear Science in Los Alamos. There are a
Aha.
bunch of very good people over there, right? Then like Walter Fontana, Kuni Kaneko, Jim Crutchfield, um, you know,
Mm-hmm,
Duane Farmer. There are many people, start to think about the computational evolutionary systems. So I went there, then I was so much impressed with this kind of atmosphere. And then actually, when I was there, it was the first time that a computer in a computer in Center for Nonlinear Science, crashed. Computer crashed because of this worm. Computer worm emerged, right? And then people get to the computer room, and what happened? And then because this computer virus is replicating,
yes.
and then it stopped.
Ah,
You know,
aha,
and that was
aha.
the first event that was found in the world, right? Because it was so interesting, and then I was so much impressed with this uh, digital nature, evolutionary systems that happens, and that changes the way that you in the
Yes,
real world, right?
yes,
So it's
yes,
the real world and virtual world is almost it's interfering each
yes,
other. So that's what the era of internet and computer world has started, right? Back in 1988 or something, I think.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So that is the very much one reason that okay, I don't have to write the equations or anything, but
Right.
starting from the program and interfacing with the internet, and that you can think about how the information flow is coming from the digital world to the real world, and then how you can
Amazing.
yeah.
How did you end up at the Santa Fe Institute? How did
Uh,
you?
so one reason is because I took summer school in San Diego, UC San Diego, where Don Farmer
Uh-huh,
taught chaos, and uh,
uh-huh.
and in order to explain chaos, he used sound, right? So when the
Oh,
system became chaotic from the periodic behavior to chaotic behavior, he translated into sound. And then,
wow.
the students listen to what how the sound changes from the periodic behavior to quasi-periodic to chaotic behavior. So that was very nice.
Amazing, amazing. And this was in the 80s?
This was 1986, I
Yeah.
remember.
So how was he translating the chaotic to sound? Can you
Yeah, I
explain a
think,
little better?
well, because I think I don't quite remember, but I think he translated into Fourier analysis, so that the
Mm-hmm.
frequency is the peak of the frequency is generated, right? When I think he was using a logistic map and then changing the nonlinear parameters from a equal to 3.5 to say 3.8 something, right? Then first of all, when the first period emerges, so that you can get this peak in a free frequency space, right? Then using this frequency space to modulate a little bit to make it more nice sound. But it wasn't so much nice sound, but it's just you know. But then period two becomes period four, means that the frequency becomes much higher, double the frequency, right? So that new frequency emerges. Then you translated that frequency into sound, right? So that
Mm-hmm.
you can hear that the more frequency is coming up, then finally it becomes a white noise. It's kind of white noise,
Mm-hmm.
bunch of frequency emerges so that you can hear that, first of all, there was just a beep, this kind of sound,
Right.
and then becomes chaos. It's like complete,
Right, right,
yeah,
right.
chaotic
That's
white noise.
very
Yeah.
cool. And so and then he had his students listening
Yeah,
to,
that's a summer school that there are a bunch of students from all over the world, right, was
uh-huh.
listening to. And one farmer was, wearing like swimwear with a t-shirt or something, right? So I also shocked. This is like it's quite different from Japan, right? I
Yeah, I
mean,
was going to say, coming from Japan physics department to San Diego hippie
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah, right. Well, also, Don Farmer is a physicist also, right? Back in,
Sure, sure.
yeah. And then after that, Duan and Norman, they started, I think, no one was there. Like their prediction company, and then, prediction is their business,
Right.
how to predict stock market, how the stock market changes
Yes,
over
yes.
time and this kind of thing. Yeah. And then also, one of my he so Kuni Kaneko is from my same school. I mean, same lab. But
Hmm.
he already got a PhD, and then he uh, he wasn't there. But when I went, when I got, you know, come to this lab, then I noticed that he was also he was using chaos to understand life behavior. So that I'm very much sympathetic with what he was doing, and he showed me a hypercycle by Eigen and Schuster.
Hmm.
So I was pretty much got impressed also with this hypercycle ideas, like starting from A catalyzes B and B catalyzes C and C catalyzes D, and then finally coming back to the first one, right? So that the
Hmm.
self-catalyzing network is something that should be the first chemical reaction at the origin of life. So that's
Hmm.
why I was trying to understand how this hypercycle is emerging from scratch. Right? That's what the coevolution of machine and tapes is came out from.
Ah, okay, so interesting. I'm so glad you told me the background of that.
Yeah,
How it progresses to the point where you start looking at how this
yeah,
works.
yeah,
Amazing. Yeah, thank you
yes.
for sharing that. So then from there, What was
Actually, I
your
never told this kind of thing to anyone.
Well, you know me and my questions, right?
Yes.
So now we're back to the machine and creating these systems and
Hmm.
this kind of, would you say that it's a fractal expansion that keeps replicating, or would you,
Yeah, it's a part of fraction, but as you know, the chaos is a deterministic random generator, right? Random noise
right,
generator, but it's a deterministic. There is a equation, there's an algorithm behind it, right? So, but the question is how those, when chaos emerges from some other thing, right? So,
right.
so this from the passive noise to active noise is something
Yes,
like just a random, noise in the environment is translated into sort of chaos, right? So that's something
yes.
that I'm interested in. So it's a little bit different from fractals because
Sure,
fractal
sure,
is
sure,
more like
sure.
a yeah,
Yeah, yeah. No, I understand
the,
it's different. I'm just saying in the sense that it's kind of expansive and
yeah, yeah.
replicating itself. And
Oh yes,
and
yes, yes.
and
That's
why
right.
did you
Yeah.
choose to use the tape recorder?
Well, that's that's another thing. So machines and tapes is a computer simulations of this kind of things. I call it just a tape and a machine. Okay,
Right.
but then when I wrote this paper, then do you know? Sorry, do you know Noto Carsten?
Yes, I know the name.
Yeah, Carsten Nikolai. So
Yes, of course.
he found my paper in New York. He said in a bookstore, right?
Uh-huh.
And then his noise music is very much
Yes.
sympathetic with what I was saying, right? So
Interesting.
he
Wow.
called me up, and then he wants to see me. So then he came to Japan and he came to my office, right? And then it was my first time to see somebody doing noise music. That was like a 1999 or 2000,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think.
I saw
Then
him at Ars Electronica and
oh, okay,
yeah, yeah. Very
and then
cool.
he brought me DVD. His the first album
Uh-huh.
about noise music, and then I played it, and then there was the noise came out, right? So I told him, "Oh, Carson, I'm sorry, but this one is broken." Then Carson says, "No, no, no, no. This is my piece." So this is my first time to
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 actually
see.
listen to artists making chaos, right?
Yes, yes.
So
So yeah,
he was arriving to a similar thing where he was
yeah.
exploring it from probably more intuition, right? And more of
Yeah,
an artistic approach. Super
that's right.
interesting.
That's right. So
Super interesting.
then, yeah, then at that time, there was the museum. What is the name of the museum in Tokyo, and then he supposed to make he tried to do exhibition, right? He is planning to organize exhibition, and then he wants to he used the real tapes and machine and put there that, and he used my figures then saying that this is coevolution of machines and tapes. So tapes is recording itself again and again and like this
Uh-huh.
demonstrations. And also, so he was also interested in something non-digital, but it's more, but it's very noisy something. So for example, he needed echo uh, echo chamber, right?
Hmm.
When the particle is coming, right? So it's invisible, right? But
Hmm.
if you put uh, alcohol and also dry ice, and then you can visualize how the alpha particle and beta particle and then gamma particle is coming through this petri dish
Hmm.
or a big glass. Do you know this one is?
Yes, I do actually. Yes.
Uh,
Fantastic
so
piece.
yeah, so there are very big this system exists in Tokyo, but of course it was in museum. But I negotiated. with them to bring it to the museum, so that's then people can see, how the alpha beta bug. But actually, this alpha beta, it's what we call it, Wilson's. It's a what do we call a chamber? Cloud chamber.
Cloud chamber. That's right.
Yeah, cloud chamber in
That's right.
Wilson's cloud chamber. Which when I was like 8 years old or 9 years old, I came to know that cloud chamber exists, and I was so much
Really?
excited. Yeah,
How?
excited
How?
about it.
How did you find
Well,
out?
well, first of all, my father is a physicist, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Then when my friend was also interested in physics, then we are always talking about the Star Trek, and then and some other science fictions. Then we came to so we are reading many books, and then came to know that there is a Wilson's cloud chamber, and then that can visualize invisible, particles visible, which I thought was very nice. So, so I
Wow.
wanted to make it by myself, and then there was it's a way to make it. Of course, it's difficult to visualize sometimes.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, but yeah, once you make it, yeah, and then also this is a German professional cloud chamber, so it's very beautiful,
Yes.
particle that you can see. So and that also, in Japan there's a Ukichiro Nakaya. He he was a scientist, and then he's the first guy that who made artificial snowflakes.
Ah.
So using a rabbit, you know, hair,
Uh-huh.
using a rabbit hair because it's not completely homogeneous. There are some node in there, right? So
Uh-huh.
that the snowflakes is starting from there, right? And put the rabbit hair in the ice insulator. What do you call it? Uh, uh, well, anyway, it's a thermos. Just a thermos. You prepare
Okay.
a thermos and put the
Yeah.
rabbit hair in there, right? And then carefully tuning the temperature and then humidity. Then you can make a snowflakes, right? So I proposed, Carsten to do. Let's do it, and then he also he did it, and then he exhibited this. Uh,
Beautiful.
yeah, so this all his exhibition was titled autopilot, I
Mm-hmm.
think. So autopilot means how the system is automatically generating patterns. So it's pretty
Yes.
much like a synthetic. It's not an AI, but a synthetic pseudo AI thing.
That's right. That's right. And you always went back and forth with chemistry and looking at how
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I remember the experiment you did with the oil to show how
Yes,
it
yes, yes.
works with
That
oil. It
was
was
also very exciting. Yeah.
very beautiful. Yeah, yeah. So when did you start having sound artists in your lab? Was it so it started with Karsten when you experimented with him, and then you invited other sound artists to be in your
No, no, I
lab?
was because the DVD that he gave it
Yeah,
to me,
yeah,
it was just a noise, right? So I wasn't, but this is my second encounter. The first one was Don Farmer, right? And then
yes,
second one is Carsten Nicolai.
right.
Then I went to visit Sony CSL uh, Institute because
Mm-hmm.
there was the open day. And then when I was discussing with Kemogi about something, then Keiichiro Shibuya is another. He studied noise music in Japan. So Keiichiro became very famous now, but that time I didn't know him. But then uh, but well because but he knew me, and then he read my one of my book about complex systems, and then we came to know each other, and his house was in Shibuya. And then when we came back from Sony CSL to Shibuya, we in the in the metro we already discussing how to collaborate with. So yeah, he's also quite unique artist like Carsten, and but he graduated from Tokyo Art University as a composer, right? But he's
I
more,
see.
yeah, and he really got interested in how to use a computer to make to compose the music. So we we discussed a lot, and then he asked me whether I can generate different kinds of sounds by using my algorithm. So I usually say I don't do that, but somehow I found Keiichiro was very interesting, and then also because of Carsten Nicolai, because he also knew Carsten Nicolai's work, and then so I started to make this you know uh, strange sound files from my bunch of algorithm because
Oh yeah.
yeah, because I have a lot of programs generating not the sound but spatial temporal patterns. But it's not that difficult to translate from a spatial temporal pattern into sound, right?
Right.
But the sound is so strange noise, right?
Yes. Yes.
But then but anyway, first of all, I really definitely have to generate hundreds of for sound files to see how does the sound file does look like, and then uh also Keiichiro liked it, so put those sound files. He not the note, but the sound file became score for
Uh-huh.
creating music. Yeah, so that he composes those sound files, and then yeah, that's the first one. But at the same time, do you know Quit Taylor Taylor Quit flow? So Taylor Quit flow is a very interesting system. So you have two cylinders, right?
Uh-huh.
And then um, sharing the common central axis, right? And then rotate those cylinders and
Oh,
then
I
put the
see.
water in between those cylinders, right? Then
Yes, yes, yes. I
then
remember
you
you
can
were talking about
yeah yeah
this at one point. Yes.
yeah. So this one I really wanted to make it myself. Then I
Uh-huh.
but in United States there are many this system, right? It's a very simple system. Um, like in Austin or UCSD or UCLA, you guys have this one. However, in Japan, it's so difficult to find this one.
Really?
And then, yeah, so I called many researchers whether you already generate this one because I want to know what's the point of making this one, right? I mean, well, the ratio can be very small to very large, or how to, it can be very big or very small. Then, or there's only one person who was very kind to me, and then he taught me how to make it.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, I visited him in Gifu, University of Gifu, in pretty much close to Osaka. Then I found this is a quite interesting system. So, but I what I learned from this is Terracotta flow is, as I said, two cylinders, you know,
Mm-hmm.
share the same axis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then rotating this. Um, so when I wanted to make it, I asked many people, studying chaos because the chaos is the keyword for our group, right? But nobody, said any sort of important points, right? Well, you can. Many people say, "Well, you can do it with just buy these things." Or then I was asking, so what's the size and how much the gap, but nobody could answer that, right? Then I asked my friend Norman Packard.
Mm-hmm.
He's in Santa Fe Institute. So hi Norman, when you make a Taylor quit flow system, what is the most important point? And he immediately said, okay, the gap should be 1 centimeter or something. And then I was so much impressed with it. But so that kind of information is the most important, right? So that
Right.
we finally made this Taylor quit flow. and then put aluminum, inside the
Mhm.
water,
Mhm.
small aluminum plate, and put the light from the above so that it's reflecting the light when they're making. So
Mhm.
that's another way of visualizing how those data could flow becomes chaos. Like so, when increasing the rotation speed,
Mhm.
then it's starting from the periodic behavior to chaos, but it's a
Mm.
completely different route comparing with the logistic map. When one frequency emerges, like this one, and then second frequency emerges, and when the third frequency emerges, and then it's break up everything and it became chaos. So there are new story of it's not the Landau, way of like a frequency emerges, then this one becomes destabilized. Then the second one appears, and then this one destabilized, and third one and fourth one, and that's what the Landau picture, what we call. But
Mhm.
this one is like uh, it's a really Takens a new house's idea that
Mhm.
the once three incommensurate frequency emerges, then the chaos emerges. So that
Mm.
was something that I was so interested in. Then
Mhm.
this machine generates
Yeah.
turbulence. Yeah, it's not I don't know. We we still don't we still don't know whether it's chaos, but it's a turbulence. It's
Okay.
kind of right. So
Right.
using this one to make a sound, right? So taking a CCD camera around this book, this system, and then take because of this reflection light that is translated into well, first of all, taking all these patterns, the deflection, the pattern changes, and then putting into the file. Then I was using a genetic algorithm to modify in some different
Mhm.
ways. Then translate into a sound. Then we use it and then put in the other installation. And
Wow, interesting.
that was quite nice. And that was my debut of as an artist. Yeah, yeah. This one is called description instability.
Mhm. What year did you do this? 2005.
Well, 2004 or
Wow.
five. Yeah, 4 to 5. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, yeah.
And then when we presented this, but at the same time, I gave a lecture on this, and
Mm-hmm.
then Keiichiro used the sound files I generated from my programs that
Right.
he made some sound, and
Mm-hmm.
then he played it. So it's a
Right.
lecture playing the sound and lecture and playing sound. That's also is recorded in this ICC archive. So
Mm-hmm.
this is all I did it in ICC Intercommunication Center.
What is it that you would like people to learn from this? In other words, both as a scientist and in general for the public,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
what is that experience supposed to, what would you like people to learn from it, to understand?
Um, well, first of all, the chaos is not just the people think it's a mathematical descriptions of the equations and things, but you can experience, and
Right.
it's more important to experience something rather than just reading or listen to what the people teachers said to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's very much the primary thing. That once you came to know the concept, then you really have to experience this
Yes,
concept.
yes.
Yeah. So that's I mean, usually that's the one of the main.
And there's a general misunderstanding in the way the word chaos is used. This like it's like just craziness and
Hmm.
miss
So it's not.
and it's but it's really not, right? It's a
That's
type
right.
of an order that's emergent.
Yes.
So
Yes.
can you explain this? Because a lot of times people just say, "Oh, it was chaos," like it was crazy mess of stuff and
Yeah. Right. Right. So it's the the important, like for the weather forecast, right? People think, because there are only a limited number of observation of the observatory, that's why you cannot predict the weather. However, it's not true. Even though, if you increase the number of the observatory, but still you cannot predict the future. And then the difficulty of predicting the future is exponentially increasing, right, over time.
Right.
So this exponentially, becoming difficult is the keyword. So once you put the minute difference, and this difference is amplified exponentially, so that you cannot, so this even if it's very accurate, but still this is not 100% accurate. Right? So that this error or difference is amplified, and that cover filters all the future, eventually.
Right.
So it's not unpredictable, but the prediction, it becomes difficult and exponentially becoming difficult. So that's the chaos is about. And
because of the complexity, really.
Yeah.
And that's what you always were, as far as I could tell and know your work, interested in, right?
I was, until that I was very much like interested in, generating chaos and intrinsic complexity. It's always the system has an intrinsic complexity, and that synthesize something unpredictable, something complexity in front of you. Right, that's one of my guiding principle. But before 2010 or 2008, because there is a revolutionary period. In 2010 is where deep neural network has been found. But until then, I was using chaos to make a storytelling, and storytelling is about understanding complex phenomena in nature, right? So
and then what happened once the deep thinking came in?
This one, yeah. Well, so I used, then the big one is like so Keiichiro and another people really liked this sound file because it's so different from all the other, all the other systems, right? So we decided to make so the YCOM in Yamaguchi invited us to make a second piece, which is now it's called Filmachine. So it's a sound file within a space, and that's and then sound file is also generated from my program. That's what we started to collaborate, and then also it's my second piece with Keiichiro, and that's what and it was very I think it is very successful. Then so it's not only chaos but the cell automata that I was using to generate sound. So sound from class 4 or rule 30, rule 18, and rule 100 to 110. These are the very unique, interesting rule set that can generate different sort of randomness, complexity, and then translate it into sound. And then, people can experience it like 40 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was very successful and beautiful, really. One of the first immersive pieces that really was fully experiential. Where did you do this? Remind us. And it was
it's in YCOM. YCOM is
at the
in Japan.
YCOM, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And then we were invited to Transmediale in Berlin.
Right.
So that I was first time I went to Berlin.
Interesting.
The famous city. Yeah, that was 2006.
So it wasn't science that brought you there; it was art.
Yeah. Right.
And
But then
go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted.
So the keynote at Transmediale was the Maturana, Barrera and
Wow.
Maturana, right?
Yes,
Then
big.
yeah, that was and then he spoken in Portuguese, I think, and then
Uh-huh.
he spoke in Portuguese. Portuguese translated into English, and then yeah, in German, and then German to English. So yeah, strange.
Chaos.
Yeah, I was chaos. Yes, but then I also met my old town friend Otto Resser. Otto
Uh,
Resser is one of the first scientists who discovered chaos,
mm,
equations. So there are three equations that generate chaos. One is Lorentz attractor. The other
hmm
one is Ressler attractor, and then third one is maybe Leon Mackay glass uh, equations that generate chaos. So these three different equations, but one of them is Otto Ressler's. But he's Otto Ressler. His spelling is Otto Ressler with umlaut on top of O.
hmm hmm
So Otto, he started endophysics. So it's not the end of physics, but the end of physics is physics from the internal world,
Right.
right? External and internal, and then he was very much into uh, observer dependent something, and then well, yeah, he's really genius, and then once I started to discuss with him, it always takes like 10 hours, 12 hours without stopping. You know,
Nice.
he,
Nice.
yeah, yeah, he's still in Germany,
hmm
in Tübingen. Yeah,
Good.
he's
Right.
he was working for the Tübingen University. I still, sometimes write a paper together. Like 4 or 5 years ago, I wrote a paper with him.
Oh, nice. Very nice. What an
Yeah,
honor.
yeah, he's very interested in, the origin of humanity or personalities, and then yeah, autistic kids, and then it's something related to chaos and game theories, and then yeah, so
Yeah.
it's so I had an interview with him, and then it became a book. Yeah,
Very
that's
nice. Very nice. And so when did you meet Charles Taylor?
well,
Chuck.
the Chuck Taylor is I think because he's artificial. He was that time he was editing Artificial Life, and then he was organizing many ALIFE conferences, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So that yeah, I don't remember which one, but of course, he knew me, and then of course, I knew him, right?
Right.
So one day that I came to, sometimes when I see him, we discussed, but then, you know, one of my students, uh, uh, I think, well, now he's another a professor in some other university, but Sasahara-kun he was studying a bird song, analyzing bird song, and then so I recommended Chuck because it's quite adequate. Then so he went to UCLA as a postdoc.
Uh-huh.
Um, then also some Professor Arita, and then also Reiji Suzuki is in Nagoya University, and they also went there. So
Yes. I
yeah, so
remember.
these are the artificial life researchers. So I visited them, when they went to postdoc. Yeah, yeah, and then I will more, often intensely discuss with Jack about
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
It was wonderful actually working on that project and the way you contributed, and actually Chuck introduced us, right? Because
Was it
Chuck introduced us.
really?
Yes. Yes,
Oh,
because
okay.
he was doing this NSF grant,
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
right? And I think
Yeah,
you were on the grant, yeah?
yeah, yes, yes. I was.
It was the measuring the acoustic network of birds. And uh and then he asked me if I would participate and somehow doing a project with that.
Mm-hmm.
So we started uh, talking to each other, and I wasn't sure at all how I would approach it. But I
Mm-hmm.
remember I went to Topanga with him to listen to the birds. Actually, they went really early in the morning, all the postdocs, everybody.
Uh, yeah,
Just
I went
then,
there too. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then I remember the first time I went, I couldn't find them. They were just high up in the hill somewhere. And I found them and I went, hi. And they all looked at me so angry. Like all the birds disappeared. So I thought, oh, I have to be quiet. But then you came with your whole group, remember? And
Yeah.
you did a wonderful installation at
Oh
the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
UCLA Sculpture Garden
Yeah.
with the parametric speakers, and we really
Mm-hmm.
started playing. It was
That's
just
right.
wonderful. And also how you introduced later.
Yeah.
You could maybe describe because I thought it was super interesting how you introduced the complex system with
Mm-hmm.
the visualization of the origami birds.
Mm-hmm.
That was wonderful. When we did it at Ars Electronica, I
Mm-hmm.
remember the
Mm-hmm.
stress of having to download everything because it was in real time. You
Yeah.
remember?
Yes, yes.
So maybe you
Yeah.
can describe that a little bit, that
Yeah,
process.
yeah, yeah. Well, because I was interested into, I mean, so that was like, when was it? 2014, I think.
Yes, 2014 we started, and then
Mm-hmm.
the project actually, the art project happened
Mm-hmm.
2017. It took a while to get
Yeah,
it off the ground. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, right. So, 2010, I did a Mind Time Machine, which is a big three screens with a neural network, and then we just this system it was running in Hawaii in the museum, Waicom again.
Yes.
Then the season was from spring to summer, so it's a slow time scales, but many people are coming every day. It was
Uh-huh.
recorded and then replayed again and again, and then the system is changing the weights of the neural network. It was just before the deep neural network,
Oh,
right?
wow.
Then, but I thought, once you record everything, and then the system becomes conscious, right?
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
so I call it, it's a machine consciousness, and my time machine can have a consciousness or not. And
Hmm.
that was I was studying with it with many cameras. I think
Hmm.
actually it's a 15 cameras, including videos and things. But
Hmm.
that time, uh, do you know DeVroy that he put so many cameras and
Yes.
audios in the house? He calls it Speech Home Project.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then there's the people in Max Planck Institute. They recorded all the stages of starting from the 64 stem cells and then becoming an individual fish, right? And then
Mm.
they recorded everything. So that around 2010, there are many data science, so-called data science is emerging, right? So
Right,
it's
right.
switching from the storytelling science to data science science.
Mm, mm,
So
interesting.
yeah, so it was then I noticed that yes, right. I mean, people get tired of listening to the stories, and then it's more interesting to see the real high resolution data set. Then I put so many sensors. I mean, so the sensory network is my kind of interest at that time. So for the birds thing, and then also sound, I use the parametric speakers, right,
Yes.
that time, and
Yes.
then there are the sensors also, right? The
Yes.
sensing the sounds and ambient light, and then also temperature and all the other things, putting into the sensors. Then there is a program. It's artificial chemistry. It's going to mix up those sensory data, and then send it to other sensors, right? So the sensors and each sensor is coupling with other sensors, and then it's like artificial chemistry is going on
Yes. Yeah.
with the with the sensory data set is coming from the environment. And then that time I translated into the sound. Then there is a parametric speaker that can generate sounds. So it's more like a
Yes.
feedback system, but also it's quite like a large, you know, uh, coupling with the environment.
That's
So
right.
it,
That's right. It
yeah, so
was
that's,
wonderful to do it in scuba at the large space.
oh, that
That
was very nice.
that was probably the best and very hard to replicate because we had
Yeah.
24 parametric
Yes,
speakers.
yes, yes, yes.
And also remember the wings with the sensors.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that was nice.
And the
That was
bird.
nice.
And the bird.
Yes, yes, yes.
You were on the bird, remember?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was very nice.
Yeah, but that's not the kind of space you could just do easily. And I don't think
Mm.
it exists anymore, right? I think,
Yeah, I've never been to after we did this. Yeah,
yeah, I think Hiro retired and then the space
so
probably closed.
so are you still having a keep in touch with them? No,
Not so much,
keeping.
but now that you reminded me, I will get in touch. I'm in
Yeah,
touch
yeah,
with the students, so John Brumley and Ison and Masha, the students I worked with
yeah,
there,
yeah.
they're doing very well now.
What about was it Jeff? What's his name? The young programmer that you are working with,
John Brumley.
John, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I met him
Yes,
in Artificial Life Conference.
yes, he
This,
told me.
oh, okay, okay,
He told me
okay,
he
yeah.
was very excited. He actually sent me a message, so that's
All right,
wonderful.
okay.
He's
Yeah, that
now
was
in,
wonderful.
yeah, small world, right? So he's now teaching in Shanghai at
Oh,
the
really?
Institute of Visual. Oh no,
Okay.
NYU. Um, yeah, so from then on, I kind of lost touch a little bit about what you have been doing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can update us a little bit on
Yes.
your latest crazy projects.
Yeah. So was it? Yes. Then what was it? Then yeah, it was 2010 and 2014. Was it 2014? Yeah. Yeah. Well, actually, it's so people sometimes get interested in what I was doing in artificial life. Then Hiroshi Ishiguro, that
All right.
he was working as android, and then
Sure,
making
sure.
android of himself. And he
Yes.
came to me and said, uh, so so what you're saying is interesting, but it's very difficult to the general audience to understand what you're saying. And
Right.
then he proposed, well, why not making an android and work together, right? So that I said, yeah, that's a good idea that I made an android. So I since 2016 I started to work with the android, and then how the
I
android
remember
became.
visiting you with the first version of the Android.
Okay, okay. So
And it's really advanced since then, right?
yeah, well, yes, yeah, yes and no. I mean,
Yes and
it seems,
no.
yeah, because it seems like the same uh shape. I mean,
Yes.
same facial expressions, and the body movement. But in 2018, I had a conference. I think you were one of these Jerry of artificial life arts,
Yes.
2018. Then I did a concert with Keiichiro with this Android.
Okay.
This is an Android opera, which is that was very successful. I mean,
Yes.
1,000 audience, and then was a premiere before this ALIFE conference. And then Android was a conductor with a 40 orchestra, and
Yes. It was
did
amazing. And tell me about the sound, because the Android was the conductor.
yes, but this time it's a sound is composed by Keiichiro because
Aha.
we use the orchestra, right? It's not a
Right.
digital sound.
Okay, okay.
So so there's so 2008 Keiichiro lost his wife,
Oh,
uh
I'm so sorry.
so that he switched. I mean, he started to play the piano from 2008, and
Mm-hmm.
then I lost my father in 2016, and
Mm-hmm.
then that also changed my I don't know, my mindset.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah, so because my father was very a big thing to me because
Of
when
course.
something happens, try to make a Taylor quit machine. I always, discuss with him, how to make it or some other theories and,
Right, right.
works. So, so Keiichiro and also we do have a lot of, some private things. Then this orchestra is the real acoustic sounds and right, and then his piano. But Android is how the conducting is conduct the orchestra was a very difficult part, right? So that I used Cell Automata, again, Chaos and all other systems to uh, to control the Android. So Android
Mm.
was not 100%, automatic. It's 50% because but he had his own fluctuations and he can, he has a score in his body, right? So he knows how the sound
Oh,
goes,
wow.
and then
The score is in his body.
in the body in a way, yeah.
In that way,
And
yeah.
then, and
Interesting.
then when the sound amplitude goes up, then his behavior also changes, right?
Mm.
Then when we did rehearsal, uh, the beginning that nobody, I mean, the players not thought the android was very awkward, as a conductor. But the gradually they people get used to the android conductor, and then take a selfie or it's having more union. It's kind of a nice co collaboration, cooperation emerges.
Was it shown anywhere else after this?
Yes. So when we did this, there was an offer from again from Germany.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why the Germans are interested in it. So we went to Düsseldorf, and but when we went to Düsseldorf, I wasn't so successful. I mean, we played the same thing, and then people got interested in, but not as good as what we did in Tokyo, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, we brought it uh, to London. So there's what's the big museum over there? The London.
Tate.
No,
Tate.
not Tate. It's more like at that time, DeepMind organized this exhibition. Then when was it? So it's 2000. It was like 2018, 19, right?
Oh, so just before the pandemic.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That was big exhibition that the DeepMind people want to start from the beginning of a computation to exhibit, you know, uh, from the small network to deep neural network to
Mm-hmm.
artificial life. So,
Mm-hmm.
so I presented Auto 2, Auto 3 at that time. So
Uh-huh.
now that the camera is completely, installed with Android, so that he can see the world. And also we use some algorithm to mimic people behavior in front of the auto, so that auto has now mimicking property. But so it was interesting that people are interested in interacting with auto tree, right? So it was the 2019, and then yeah, because the deep neural network came out, so I really want to use it. So we used it to variational autoencoders and all other things
Mm-hmm.
to auto, right? And then at that at the same time, I'm more interested in do you remember that also at the 2018, I interested in uh, simulating a large swarm
Yes. Yes, I
because
remember.
I think the size is another parameter
That's
that
right.
changes the behavior, right? From
I
the
love that. That's the self-organized criticality,
that's right,
right?
that's right, that's
Yeah,
right.
that was fantastic. I think we also utilized that in Birdsong
Yeah, that
Diamond.
then I brought it to Ars Electronica, and
Yes.
then you you interact with this
Yes, it
big
was
swarms.
really fantastic.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
just tell everybody about this beautiful idea that you had for a long time, that now I think we can actually see it in action, where you were describing how you start with one boy, then you continue,
yeah,
continue,
yeah.
and at some
Right.
point it starts to act, you can't control it anymore.
Yes, that's
So
right.
now we're watching the whole AI thing, and I
Hmm.
think we're all expecting that point kind of soon. Maybe you can talk about that
No,
because
that's interesting. Yeah, actually, so after 2023, I mean, the big swarm is very interesting, and then I think it's size matters, right?
that's right.
Something that unexpected behavior emerges, beyond certain size. Then after 2023, um, well, actually, I took a sabbatical and I went to Oyst. It's a Okinawa island,
Hmm.
right? And then it's it was nice, but yeah, I came to so I studied another grant. It's a science grant. It's about collectives of ants, honeybees, and tetrahymena.
Wow, super interesting.
Yeah, because after 2010, it's not the storytelling, but it's more like a data driven science, right? So that we can trace all the honeybees and tetrahymena and ants, right?
Hmm.
So we do think what's the collective intelligence is, like you said,
Right.
just before this LLM came out. So I was interested in what's the collective intelligence is emerging from those interactions,
Hmm.
local
Hmm.
interactions. And I came to the idea, which I call community first theory.
Hmm.
So don't try to find gifted people to get the team member of your team. But first of all, get together, right? And start
Right.
doing something as a team. Then the talent is emerging from it, right? That's what the community first theory. So I try to prove it using tetrahymena and honeybees.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's something that I'm still doing this. Yeah.
That's really beautiful. And I've been working with bees too. I'm very interested in bees. And I just talked to Lisa Schoenberg, who did a whole study with ants
Mm-hmm.
and the sounds the ants produced that they're talking to each other. So nobody really thinks about
Mm-hmm.
ants actually talking to each other, but they're
Mm-hmm.
making these vibrations, and the vibrations are what is creating community and the intelligence.
Really?
So
Wow.
yeah, so you should definitely, I'll connect you. And I did a vibrations episode just with her just two
Oh,
days
that's
ago.
that's interesting.
It's
Yeah, yeah.
very interesting. Yeah, it's super interesting. And there, I started thinking of the ants a little bit like mycelium. There's so many around the earth and they're everywhere. And they are just this kind of incredible biological network. But then when she introduced the idea of the sound actually is what's propagating them, it's amazing.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
And with the bees also, it's just endless how amazing they are. It's
Yeah.
just really endless.
Yeah. There's dancers and the
Yes,
bees watching dancers and then
yes,
some other right? I mean, what do you call it? Those bees just going out to,
yeah, yes, exactly. The queen
looking for flowers and things.
and the
Yeah.
chemical but the thing that I recently found out that I think you may know of is that the bees have iron in their stomach area. And this helps them navigate through the magnetic fields and follow the sun, right? And when the sun is at a solar maximum like it is now, they actually get kind of confused. So
Hmm.
it's really interesting. I had no idea that they actually had.
Really? Oh, I didn't know this.
Yes. So the iron is related to the magnetism.
Uh-huh.
Like wow.
I see. I see.
Yes,
Well, I didn't know that. Uh-huh.
no, it's incredibly complex actually.
Yeah, that's true.
The creatures you chose are ignored by many, but in fact, if the bees disappear, we disappeared.
Uh-huh.
We cannot
Yes.
exist without them.
Yeah,
And they're incredibly complex, the
oh,
societies they create.
that's right. That's true. That's true. Actually,
Plus the
yeah.
sound, right? I mean, the sound is all vibrations.
Oh, yeah. No, no.
Wait, let
It,
me tell you one more thing.
yeah.
I also discovered that bees create their hives with sound. You know how they create the hexagons? They're
Uh-huh.
actually doing it with sound. They're like vibrating the shapes.
Hmm.
How amazing is that?
You mean the real sounds? Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, but I think that's something that we really have to understand. And if we can visualize like how the sound waves, penetrating, you know, among communities of the bees, right? So
yes.
that,
And actually creating the structure with the
mhm,
sound. That to me,
that's
when I
beautiful.
heard that, that's so amazing. It's
That's
incredible.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So,
No, that well, I mean, I try to say that the 4 years after the bee, you know, you said that the honeybee get extinguished, then the human also is get extinguished, right? That's something I was, but I think it's kind of rumor, but it's also true that because the honeybees is, you know,
pollinator.
yes, therefore, all those, the rice and all
Yes,
those,
exactly.
yeah,
Well, I think
because of the plants,
what's
yeah,
interesting to me about hearing the progression about your work, and some of it I know, some of it I don't know so well, is that I can see how you go back and forth between the natural world, the chemistry, and nature
yeah,
to data and the machine and how it's all kind of intertwining.
mm,
And so it's very fascinating to me and not surprising that you're kind of going back into natural systems to look at the ants and the bees and to see how complexity emerges in our world, right? Um, and then there's, of course, all the machines that are getting to the point that you predicted, that after a certain point, they just can't be predicted and they just will generate their own
mm,
intelligence. So where do you see it going? Because it's a complex situation and nobody can really predict where it's going.
mm.
How do you see it? Where do you see it going?
As you said, I think the collective intelligence is something that it may come true. So I'm now that using LLM agents that is talking to each other as and then try to make it the large network. LLM agents talking to each other.
Oh,
So
come on. Really?
yeah, 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 yeah. And then that also controls Android, but also other things, and then it becomes very spontaneous. So sometimes so I was really, really surprised because when yeah, actually my Android has very interesting things, but we always have to write something on the prompt, right?
Right.
And then when we submitted this work to science, and then one of the reviewers, but they didn't understand it because so, it's too early for them, I think. But
Right.
as one of the reviewers says, well, but because you write everything on the prompt so that it's not autonomous behavior or something. So so he didn't get the point, but on the other hand, I think it's always a little bit tricky what I can write on the prompt. So one day I said, okay, stop writing on the prompt. So I said, okay, you can do whatever you want. That's basically the prompt is, right? So the Android uses eyes, right? So that he can see the world. And he said, uh, your room is so messy with cables. That's what he said. And he said, okay, I want to clean up. Then he started to clean up. So I was so surprised, I didn't say anything, but first of all, he was sense making that this room is not clean enough, right? Then that motivated him to clean up. So
Amazing.
It's amazing, right?
It's
So that,
amazing.
yeah, because now that it's gradually, deeping out
That's
from
right.
our society. Yes.
That's right.
So I'm continuing understanding what's the spontaneity of those LLM and an LLM network once
Uh-huh.
they have, especially once they have connected with the embodied, right, the
That's
body,
right.
Android,
That's right.
then they can interfere with the world, and then also they have a agency, spontaneity, and maybe next year,
Maybe
maybe we
next
can
year.
we can have
So
more,
the collective intelligence of agents that are
yeah,
separate from the collective intelligence of humans, and we
yeah,
have
yeah,
these
yeah, yeah.
different societies
But
emerging.
the interaction is so important.
Yes.
I don't think they are not creative enough right now. But once you are having a dialogue with them,
Yes.
then between us
Yes.
we can make a new creativity, right? Which
Exactly.
yeah. So that's
Exactly.
something that you know. Can I show one more thing? Um.
Absolutely. Yeah, I really
So
like to see
so
what
this
you're doing.
can you see this?
It's cut off a little bit the screen. There we go. Yes, I see it.
Yeah. So this is
Well, yeah, there we go.
yeah. So this one
Mm-hmm.
um is something I presented at the expo. So this year there was a expo in Osaka,
Uh-huh.
right? In so this is the 10-meter high, the real one, right? So
Wow.
I call it tree of biological evolution. So
Wow.
starting from something um, primitive sea without living systems, then I put some simulations of it because still we cannot bridge the gap between life and non-life world.
Mm-hmm.
Then I put so many layers, starting from the fossils and then the brains and computers and internet and iPhones with the synthetic AI, and
Mm-hmm.
then honeybees. So once the
Oh,
honeybee hive we created, and then if it's extinguished, then the human is going to be died. But still, there are these are the eggs that I also painted. So new living systems emerging, and then it's continuously, information is inherited from one generation to the other
very,
generation.
very beautiful.
But then
Wow.
finally, this red one is like because the sun we're going to become red giant or something, right? Red giant is that the sun is becoming
Mm-hmm.
huge red star, and then the Earth is going to be distinguished because of this the sun after 5 billion years from now. And
Mm.
then it's again it's going to extinct everything, but it's coming up again and again, and it is a recarnation of the biological living system that I presented at the expo.
It's beautiful. It's very
So
intense. What was the sound?
the sound, so Itsuki made a sound, and that is quite a nice sound is coming from the above, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we put a big speaker on top of it. So once you stand in front of it, then there's a shower of sound is coming from the above, which I really like. Yeah. So I want to yeah. So I want to send it sometime soon.
Please, yes.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So that's kind of So I'm very interested in. But you're right. So back and forth between nature and the virtual world. So
Mm-hmm.
that I'm interested in the both side, but
Yes.
and then
Very
at the
beautiful.
border it's becoming very much obscure, I think. Right?
I think that's where the magic happens in
Oh
between.
yes, yes, yes,
In between, yes.
yeah.
Thank you so much,
I'm
Takashi.
sorry it took so much time, but I was really
No, no,
enjoyed.
no, no. I enjoyed it as well, and I don't like rushing these things. I think that's, people also like listening to more
Mm,
interesting conversations. So you'll also sh I'll look at some of the images too and
yeah.
share the sounds.
But yeah, I really wanted to see you in person. So you are now in New York, you said?
I'm between New York and LA.
Uh-huh.
I'm bi-coastal.
Very nice. And then, but so you retired from
I
UCLA?
am not yet, but I will be becoming a research professor. So I will
Hmm.
continue working on grants and projects, but retiring from teaching. Yeah.
That's it's same here. So I'm going to retire next March,
Uh-huh.
but then I become a research professor.
Same,
So
identical.
I still I still have a grant so that I will be working over there. But also
Same, same.
other university in Tokyo, it's Atomic University, wanted me to make a new center. So I
Oh,
made a
great.
Center for Information Science and Arts, which is
Wow.
I call it
Fantastic.
Isaac. Uh,
Isaac, I love it.
yeah. So I really want invite you that we can have like a symposium or something.
I would love that so much. I really miss Japan.
Yeah. So let's do it. Whenever
Let's do
it's
it.
good for.
Let's do
It's
it.
very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
would
please,
love
please.
that so much. Thank you so much. This was
So
very
we should
beautiful.
yeah, we should organize and then who we should invite. Then
Yes, all of this. Yeah, yeah.
so
So, so Takashi, thank you so much
yeah. Thank
for
you so much.
spending this
Yeah.
time with us.
No, no, no.
And
I'm very happy and it's honor. And then
yes,
I'm so
yes,
happy to talk to you. Thank you so much.
very lovely. Thank you. Take care.
So hope see you soon.
Yes, I hope so too.
Ciao,
Bye.
ciao.